The Boston Celtics are one of the most storied franchises in the history of the NBA. Anybody who's played for the Celtics got a huge image to maintain due to the legacy left behind by former players. Bill Russell helped bring the Celtics 11 championships back in the 50s and the 60s. John Havlicek brought 2 more in the mid-70s. Larry Bird brought them 3 in the 80s. And Paul Pierce brought them 1 in 2008, ending a 22-year drought. That's 17 championships in franchise history, which is the most all time. Now, it's been about 10 years since Boston won a championship, but with the move that's been made by Danny Ainge over the past 4 years and what can come soon after, I think winning one may come more sooner than later. What's up, NBA fans? OG the Beast here, and in today's video, we're going to discuss the rapid growth of the Boston Celtics. What they did to get to the point that they are at right now. This is one of the most amazing franchises in NBA history, and I am honored to sit here and discuss their journey with all of y'all wonderful people. So if you enjoyed this video, please show some support. Hit that like button, it's really important, y'all, please. And if you're new, please subscribe. And as always, if you think I'm talking that nonsense, holla at me down in them comments, man. So without further ado, y'all know the routine. Drop my intro.
It's killer raps, we got the hottest staff. In 03, I made a dynasty like Robert Kraft.
I'm warning y'all now, a name you will hear a lot throughout this video is Danny Ainge, because he's the engine behind Boston's success. But anyways, let's take this back to 2013, right? Boston wanted to obviously go into a different direction, so by doing this, they made a couple changes. They traded their head coach Doc Rivers for a 2015 unprotected first-round pick to the Clippers, and Danny Ainge would do the best thing they could have done to help progress this rebuild. Hire Brad Stevens. Stevens was the head coach of Butler University and was the 3rd youngest in D1 history to lead a team to 30 wins. He's also the 2nd youngest to make the Final Four. After hiring Stevens, Ainge decided to make some player changes by sending Paul Pierce, Jason Terry, and Kevin Garnett to the Nets for Gerald Wallace, Chris Humphries, Marshawn Brooks, Chris Joseph, Keith Bogans, and most importantly, the Nets 2014, the Nets 2016, and the Nets 2018 first-round picks. Also, the right to swap 2017 first-rounders if they so please. This would be a game changer. This move was the first of many, but maybe the most important move Ainge made during the rebuild. We'll talk about that a little bit later on in the video. The following season in 2014, they traded Rajon Rondo to the Mavericks for a first-round pick in next year's draft and a second-rounder in 2016. Also that year, before the trade deadline, they moved Jeff Green to Memphis and traded for Isaiah Thomas, giving up a late first-round pick and Marcus Thornton. Can't beat that. At the time, Danny Ainge, get this, Danny Ainge made 11 trades in a 7-month span. In 2015, Brad Stevens started to show that he can win some games a little bit with the pieces he had. So moving forward, moving players became more methodical when trying to find guys to match the coach's system. The Celtics went 48-34 that season, making the playoffs, but would get eliminated in the first round by the Atlanta Hawks. 2016 was a big year for Boston as they used one of those Nets picks to draft Jaylen Brown with the 3rd pick in the draft. And with little to nobody getting paid on the roster, they used some of that flexibility money that they had and signed Al Horford to a 4-year, $113 million contract. That season, the Celtics will go 53-29, granting them the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference and home field advantage throughout the entire playoffs. I think the newly acquired Isaiah Thomas and Al Horford had a bit to do with that. Now, they would make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, but would get beaten 5 games by the Cleveland Cavaliers despite being emotionally driven by the tragic death of Isaiah Thomas's sister during the Eastern Conference Finals. But on the bright side though, they would enter the following season with the number 1 pick in the draft. All right, so the crazy thing is they didn't use that number 1 pick. Instead, they traded it to the 76ers, who wanted Markelle Fultz. And with the Lakers picking at 2, everybody kind of knew they would be getting Lonzo Ball. But what the Sixers didn't know was that Boston wanted Jason Tatum the entire time. And they was actually gonna select him with the first pick in the draft anyway. So in essence, the Sixers still would have got Markelle Fultz at 3. But since the brilliant Danny Ainge played the old bait and switch into the trade, Boston would acquire next year's first round pick from Philly that they got from the Lakers, contingent that it's a top 5 pick. If not, they would give back the pick to the Sixers, and the Sixers would have to give Boston the first round pick that they got from the Kings instead. And we already know the Kings gonna stick up the joint, so they ain't gotta worry about that being a top 5 pick. As I already mentioned, they would use that 3rd pick in the draft to take Jason Tatum. Later on that year, during the offseason, they also used some of that money flexibility again to sign the best available free agent, Gordon Hayward. Soon after signing Hayward, Ainge dealt Avery Bradley to the Pistons from Marcus Morris, which made more sense, but he wasn't done yet. When Ainge heard that Kyrie wanted out of Cleveland, he jumped all over the opportunity. And who wouldn't? Knowing that your best player can't be 5'9" tall, so they eventually agreed to a deal involving all-star point guard Isaiah Thomas, Jay Crowder, and the last Brooklyn Nets pick that they had from the Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett trade for Kyrie Irving. So basically that leads us to where we are now. So if you think about it, just take a second real quick. Let's let this marinate. Boston basically turned those 3 Brooklyn picks into Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, and Kyrie Irving. Can you say genius? Damn! Imagine where the Nets would be right now if they never made that stupid ass trade. Who knows? They probably would have found a way to screw it up anyway. Anyways, the Celtics look like a team that can be a serious contender next season in the Eastern Conference. I mean, look at them right now. They're currently in the Eastern Conference Finals on the verge of beating LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers. And this is without their 2 All-Stars. Danny Ainge made close to 70 total moves in the past 4 seasons to put together the team that we all see today. Hands down, the best GM in basketball. Fun fact, you want to know what teams such as Memphis, the LA Lakers, Philadelphia 76ers, and the Sacramento Kings all have in common? Boston owned their first round picks as well, all the way up to 2021. Damn, this man Ainge is a genius, man. They may be protected, but they still own them. They could use these picks to draft players or trade for a big fish to add to this already incredible roster. If I haven't learned one thing, I have learned this. Never underestimate Danny Ainge. And that pretty much wraps up the video today, y'all. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm telling y'all, man, the Celtics gonna be very scary as soon as next season, man. Man, this has to be like one of the greatest rebuilds in the history of the NBA. It's the best rebuild I ever seen next to the Sixers. Hey, shout out to Danny Ainge, man. We see you, dog. Hey, yo, man. I ain't gonna lie, man. Making this video kind of made me mad. Why we can't have no general manager like Danny Ainge, man? Damn. Bulls got a long way to go, man. We got a long way to go here in Chicago, but hey, we working up on some stuff though. We got something in the bag, you know what I'm saying? But hey, anyway, like, share, and subscribe, especially if you're new. I post every Monday, 8 a.m. Central, so hit that notification bell on the side of the subscribe button. Tune in so you can be reminded every single time I drop a video. Comments are important, man. Please let me know what y'all think about the video down in them comments, man, and I will be sure to get back to you. I love debate. Anyway, thanks for tuning in to the best football/basketball channel on YouTube, man. And as always, OG out.